Meanwhile, at the United Nations, the Security Council heard the situation in Ukraine remains, quote, deeply worrying. The council received information about human rights violations in the country. The UN says abductions, detentions, and killings are all still common, especially in eastern Ukraine. CCTV's Nick Harper is live at the UN headquarters in New York with the latest. Nick?
Well, the Security Council received the latest briefing from the Human Rights Monitoring Team who are based in the country. And they were told that despite the talk of a ceasefire, fierce fighting still rages, especially in the east of the country. We heard that hundreds of people had been killed in the last few months, including civilians. They said that in the last 2 months alone, 423 people had died, including civilians. On top of that, there had been 222 abductions or forced detentions. And overall, lawlessness and common criminality was rife, especially in the east of the country. The monitoring team also said that the humanitarian situation was worsening. Some people in the east of the country were finding it very difficult to find work and also to find food. The Assistant Secretary General for Political Affairs, Tabruk Zerahim, said although there had been some improvements, the situation was still significantly problematic.
While these are important steps with the potential to de-escalate the situation, the Secretary General remains deeply concerned that the realities on the ground are still grave and deeply worrying.
So talks of a ceasefire, but the evidence presented today to the Security Council by the monitoring team suggested the situation in the country is still not good.
Grave, deeply worrying. How is this sitting with Russia?
Well, as you can imagine, Russia had a very different opinion. In terms of opinions, Russia was almost on one side of the room, the rest of the Security Council on the other side of the room. Indeed, Russia had delayed today's meeting. They currently hold the rotating presidency of the Security Council. They could have had this meeting last week, but Russia pushed it back. They met today, and some of the Security Council members blamed Russia for a number of things, including giving false information and inflammatory language. But of course, Vitaly Churkin, the ambassador for Russia, roundly refuted that.
First and foremost, I have to note that some members of the Security Council, during today's discussions, once again did not make an attempt to objectively evaluate the situation and its root causes in Ukraine. There were insinuations and even threats made against Russia. We categorically refute them.
And now with this ceasefire seemingly broken, the likelihood of the Security Council meeting again on Ukraine in the coming days seems strong. Mike?
Nick Harper live.